Hello, everybody. My name is Jeff Lim, President of Portable Intelligence. I'm here today with Bill Jackman, Warehouse Manager for Canada Metals Pacific, who's going to talk a bit about their journey with RF+. Canada Metals Pacific, CMP, is a leading provider of marine products, construction, and industrial solutions. Welcome, Bill, and let's hear your story. So basically, Bill, can you tell us specifically what were the various inventory challenges you were facing leading ultimately to the deployment and of RF+ itself?
The challenges were our inventory was growing faster than we could recognize our own product due to expansion. So we got a lot more products quicker than we could remember what they all were. Organizing within the warehouse, short ships, and errors basically. When you're smaller, it's easier to find your product, right? When you diversified, with that comes inventory that you have to control, right? So when I'm comparing what it was like before RF+, I'm comparing to times of 10 million or less in business volume per year. Today, I'm looking at it where it's 60 million with much better controls in place. So, and the other challenge was if you hired somebody new into the warehouse, that was a big challenge because trying to learn all the products, that took them 4 months minimum. And then, you know, basically a year before they'd be really up to speed knowing what our products were. And at that same time, we're still acquiring other companies and adding products to the list. And so all the shippers were tasked with learning those other new products so that they would know what the right product SKU was, and they'd have to learn them all. Well, cycle counting was done every year. We shut down, and we'd shut down for 3 full days. But prior to actually having that shutdown, we used to have to go through and prep our shelves, make sure that we didn't have any open boxes, pre-count, I guess, for lack of a better word, to get it done. So it would take us the full 3 days to do a physical count. And the problem with a physical count, even though you're actually doing it, we used our own people to do it to try to be as accurate as it could be as well. But even with our own people doing it, they didn't always identify the right product. So you have your physical count and you do it at the end of the year, but you'd spend January, February, March straightening out a lot of the errors. Your accuracy on it, even that wasn't that good, right? Like the last company when we acquired, or one of the later ones, was Dock Edge in Toronto. And that was a whole line of dock building products, and that anything you needed from a dock A to Z, as far as to build your dock from flotation to fenders to rope. And we had no idea. They had more SKUs. They over doubled our SKUs just by that acquisition. And all we did was enter them into the RF+ system, or into Visual actually, which RF+ gets the information from. And we started bringing some stock in here that our shippers didn't actually recognize what it was. But when the order came in, all they had to do was scan the order, look at the gun, it would tell them where the product was located, find the right SKU, scan it and pack it. And even though they didn't know the product, they were able to ship accurately to the new customers that we'd acquired. So
if it wasn't for RF+, how long of that process of bringing Dock Edge on board in their products, how long would that have taken?
Would have taken, I would say, easily an extra year as far as being any good at shipping to do it well. I think we would have started trying to do it right away, but we would have had a lot of pain, and our accuracy level would have been terrible.
And with RF+, how long was that process?
Instant, basically instant, because as soon as we could upload it into Visual, the shipper didn't need to know what they were. There was a description there, and RF+ would lead them to the location. They could have a look, say, yeah, it looks reasonably close. Yep, ship this because it scans, it's perfect. Off it went, right? They didn't have a learning curve. And all the other learning about the product was done after that fact. But we could ship right away without worrying about, did we ship the right product? Did we, did the customer get what he thought he got,
Great. And we talked a little earlier about cycle counting before and after. How's that changed, that process?
To when we introduced cycle counting, nobody was that interested in it. But one of the promises was, hey, if we get good at cycle counting, we might be able to eliminate the year-end counts, right? As long as we can get under, the goal was be under 5%. And we will eliminate, be that for, I think we said, if you can be that way for 2 months straight, under 5% accuracy, we'll start looking at applying to not have to do a physical count at the end of the year. But once you got the habit, they did it consistently. Within the first year, we realized our inventory accuracy went way up. Right?
And where are you today now in terms of your cycle counts and that process?
I think that, well, now the guys see it as their normal job. We're averaging about 3.5%, I would say, variance at all throughout our cycle counting. We do not shut down for physical inventory count at the end of the year. Haven't done so, I believe. Well, I think we've done a stop for physical once in the last 6 years. So we know now if we stop to do a physical count, it will not be as accurate as our count currently is with cycle counting continually using RF Plus. Good. And it's a real nice system now. They've got it down to the point where our shipper doesn't even ask, it just shows up on the gun.
Okay, great. And then what was the shipping accuracy improvement? Did you see any with RF Plus?
More than though the improvement was the fact we could trace whether or not we were accurate, but it helped us have credibility to what we shipped. With RF Plus, so we were able to say, no, we can follow the path. We can see the movement of all the material, and if this moved, then it made it.
Right.
Right.
And what is your accuracy today in terms of your shipping?
Today, it's to shipping. We're accurate within 0.25%.
Right.
As far as errors go.
So 2.5 per 1,000 shipments. That's pretty phenomenal. Congratulations on that. Going forward, what are the plans for RF Plus and with respect to your expansion of the use of it and whatnot?
Well, right now we're working with RF Plus moving forward. One of the things that we realized that we've had challenges because of the diversity of the product that we carry. We go from plumbing and roofing products such as lead, which is some of it's by weight. You have maybe 300 lines on an order, right? Versus a one line order. So we were having a real tough time tracking how long should an order take to process and package. So now with RF Plus, we're looking, hopefully working with them that we can get some kind of a time capture mode there that's going to show how long each orders are taking to process, whether it's by pound, whether it's by piece, but some way that we can compare so that when we make an improvement within the warehouse, we can actually measure saying, this is how long similar orders took to pack. Now it takes this long with these improvements, or maybe it's longer, maybe it's shorter, but we'll at least have a way of comparing, because to get a shipper to document their time and let you know how long they took on this order versus that order. They don't like doing it, for one, because they feel like they're being watched, and we know that, but it's also, it slows them down, and that's a big irritant to them. So they're saying, not only do I hate doing this, but it's such a waste of time. So the only other way we've been able to do it is by looking at their whole shift and saying, okay, these are the orders they picked and packaged, and you kind of look at the product mix and say, okay, we get a fuzzy logic to it, so we can kind of tell what they've done, but it's not necessarily accurate.
Exactly. No, that's great, and we're really looking forward to delivering that enhancement soon. As I understand it, you're going to be getting that. Finally, any words of wisdom that you want to share for people looking to deploy RF Plus? What sort of lessons learned or advice do you have to offer?
The best advice is standardize, standardize, standardize. When you're implementing a system, try to standardize as much as possible. Manage your exceptions later. When you have exceptions, deal with them after the fact. Don't let them take over the initial phases of your project, because they can derail you really quick on implementation. And I think you have to have a commitment to implementation, and that kind of come right from the top, whoever's in charge of the warehouse ultimately, to make sure that's a commitment to move forward, and the buy-in to allow to say we have to do this, and there's no leeway to say no. Especially with RF Plus, it's worked really well for us. I joke once in a while with you, because I've been around forever. I joke with our head shipper. I say, "What would you do if we pulled RF Plus away from you now?" And he looks at me and says, "I'll quit." It's real simple. And back then, they were good at what they did, right? But yeah, you become very reliant on it over time.
Well, that's great to hear, and I'm glad we contributed to your success and expansion of Canada Metals Pacific. So, Bill, thank you again for your time today. Much appreciated, and continued success in your journey with our product.
Okay.
Thank you.
All the best.